Today we're going to talk about the fat fast mistakes that people are making out there and how to avoid them. I'm Anita from Ketogenic Woman, and this is my channel where I show you how I've lost almost 150 pounds following an animal-based ketogenic diet. Okay, so it seems that everybody's doing a fat fast these days, and some people are doing really well with them and others not so much. So let's talk about some of the common mistakes that I'm seeing and the questions that I've been getting. Number one, I have 7 for you, by the way. Number one, doing the fat fast too long. The fat fast is not a case of more is better. I personally don't do more than one day. I just do a day and then carry on with my, normal schedule of eating. Some people do 3 days and, I'm like, okay. And then I hear about people doing 5 days. And I just kind of think that is getting to be a little long. The main reason being that just the lack of protein, because the fat fast is generally all fat or close to it, and there's a lot of nutrients lacking there. And I know that people will say, well, a regular water fast, you got nothing, you're just drinking water. And I would say that, if you're doing more than a 72-hour water fast regularly, that may not be a good thing either. I think we just have to change things up, moderate things, and be conscious that on a weekly basis, we're getting all of our nutrients that we need, and protein is one of the things that we need. Mistake number 2 is too much protein. Many people are doing fatty meats as a fat fast. So there's a difference between doing high-fat carnivore, which is approximately 80% fat from calories and the rest from protein. That is different than a fat fast. A fat fast is fat, and lots of it, about 95% or more calories from fat, if you can get it up that high. That's the true fat fast. And eating high-fat meats is great for many people. Nothing wrong with that, but it's not the same thing. It's not going to give you the same metabolic reset as a quick, short, pure fat fast. Too much protein can kick you out of the fat-burning zone. Now, what is the fat-burning zone? That's different from, the exercise fat-burning zone. Fat-burning zone in a fat fast context is you're very low, almost no carbs, almost no protein. You're just having fat, and your ketones are really high. And your ketones are a product, those high ketones are a product of burning fat. So if you're measuring high ketones, you know that you're in that fat burning zone. Mistake number 3 is the wrong fats. And by that, I mean, we don't want to be doing any seed oils, or I wouldn't pick things like mayonnaise, salad dressings, those sorts of things as your fats. I would go to the animal fats as much as possible, butter, tallow, things like that. Maybe your homemade mayonnaise that you've made out of butter or bacon grease. And bacon grease is also a good animal fat. So we don't want the seed oils involved in this at all. Stick to the pure fats that come from animals. Number 4, not enough water and salt. That can affect you. You want to stay hydrated. You want to keep your electrolytes up. Maybe make some soul water or some unflavored electrolytes. I'll put a recipe down below for that. What's happening on a fat fast is you're getting rapid fat loss from doing that. I know it seems counterintuitive, but you're getting rapid fat loss, and that's apparent from the high ketones that it brings about. And you're going to deplete your electrolytes pretty quickly, and you need to stay hydrated. So make sure that you are drinking a lot of water so you're not getting the headache and fatigue that comes from these types of fasts. One thing that I do when I'm doing any type of fasting is I have some salt chunks, like the chunky Himalayan salt, and just put a piece under your tongue, let it dissolve, and that will give you a little boost. Mistake number 5 is too much dairy. So what is the problem with dairy on a fat fast? Well, I do include dairy on a fat fast, but just at one of the meals, or one of the feedings, whatever you want to call what we're doing on a fat fast. And the reason for that is because there's a few issues with dairy. I know that some people successfully do dairy all day long on a fat fast, a lot of heavy cream, a lot of cheeses, things like that. However, you want to be careful there because those products do have carbs. Those carbs will add up if you're doing a lot of dairy carbs, and that can potentially kick you out of ketosis or slow down the FGF21 signaling. And FGF21 is something that I've only learned about recently, and there's some interesting things that are going on with that. And so I wouldn't go heavy on the dairy unless you've already been doing it and it's working for you, because not everybody has these issues with dairy. Most dairy products have more protein than you think as well. And as we've talked about before, and on my previous Fat Fast video from last week, that too much protein is also going to kick you out of that fat burning mode that the fat fast gives you. A fat fast is supposed to be more than 95% fat, or around there, around 95% fat. And many of the cheeses and the dairy products are only in the 70s, 72%, 75% calories from fat. So you want to temper your dairy intake with some butter, tallow bites, that sort of thing. And lastly, the other thing about dairy is the inflammatory response that some people get. Some people, will break out, or it'll cause achiness in their joints, that kind of thing. So you don't want to, if you're one of those people, you don't want to be having your whole day having the fat fast ice cream, which is very nice. It's a very nice addition to the fat fast, but it shouldn't be the only thing that you consume. Mistake number 6, too much snacking and grazing. So that kind of goes along maybe with the dairy a bit, because we do need to talk about calories for a moment. One thing I didn't mention about the dairy is that it does tend to be very high calorie, and so does snacking and grazing on butter bites all day long, or other very fatty snacks. Now, this was surprising to me because I assumed that because when you eat fat, you're not really getting these insulin spikes. It should be fairly smooth. I thought it would be okay to just kind of, pop in the butter bites whenever I felt like it. But then when I found out about the FGF21, I learned that it is better for that response when you have long gaps between your fat meals, your fat fast meals. So it is actually better on a fat fast to limit your meals to say 3 times in a day, and just try to do a third of what you're going to eat at each of those meals, and have some space between them so you're just not snacking all day. Which brings me to the calories, because there are people who do a fat fast without paying any attention to the calories at all. I'm thinking people like Kelly Hogan. She has, 3,000 or more calories on a fat fast day. Sean Baker, I'll link videos below, for that. And even people that I know within my own group, in my own circle, they're like, yeah, I don't count. I just eat the fat all day long, and they get amazing ketones. Their blood glucose is good, and they drop weight on a fat fast. So if you're one of those people, great. just keep doing what you're doing, whatever is working. But if you're one of those people that gains weight on doing a fat fast, that could be an issue for you. And so that would be something to try, to keep your calories at around your TDE level, which I will link below, how to calculate your TDEE, which is total daily energy expenditure. Keep it at that level or less, for a deficit, and see if you do any better with the fat fast there. Now I have some questions to share with you that people have asked me on my last couple of fat fast videos, and so let's go over those questions. So first question, why do a fat fast for only one day when you can't expect to lose weight in a day? That's correct. I don't expect to lose weight in a day. Even if I did a 3-day fat fast, I probably wouldn't expect to lose much. It's a metabolic reset. What I'm looking for is to reset my body chemistry so that my ketones are high and blood glucose is low. And that's the main goal of a fat fast for me, because it makes everything else easier. Number 2, won't you lose a lot of muscle on a fat fast? Well, no, actually. So here again, because this is a metabolic reset, we're aiming for the ketones. It's so important to measure and not just do these things haphazardly. I want those high ketones on a fat fast and lower blood glucose, which is what this gives me. Ketones are extremely protective of muscle. And that's why on a water fast also people don't generally lose muscle mass. I mean, unless you're going to go for, weeks or something, you might. But 1 to 3 days of any type of a fast, you get high ketones, and that protects your muscle mass. This comes from people like Dr. Ben Bickman and Nick Norowitz, and so I haven't noticed anything, as far as muscle. Does doing a fat fast raise cortisol? Yeah, any type of a fast is a stressor, and so if you have cortisol issues, that is a concern, and you want to maybe just stick to one day. The other thing you want to do is to make sure you really focus on your sleep hygiene and all of that. Do the blackout curtains, do a mask at night. All the normal things that people tell you to do to get a better sleep score is going to help you in that department. Some people like to have a tablespoon of butter before bed, which is perfect for a fat fast. Some people, talk about the circadian rhythm. We want to get morning sun, evening sun, anchor those, all of those things, avoid the blue lights in the evening. All of those things are going to help with the cortisol issue, especially on a fat fast. Does doing a fat fast give you bowel issues? Like disaster pants, that sort of thing. It's possible if you're not used to it, like if you're coming from a background of, say, just normal keto or standard American diet, it might be a lot of fat all at once, and having extra fat is a carnivore's way of dealing with constipation. So the opposite issue can happen here. So if you have that type of issue where you're already having loose stools, then maybe wait until that stabilizes, because that could happen. So just go slow if you're not sure. Who should not do a fat fast? There are some people who probably shouldn't do a fat fast. I would say anybody, maybe people who have had a history of disordered eating, any type of fasting and restricting can be a problem for someone like that. I would say maybe if you're pregnant or nursing, maybe avoid that because, you're going to have some rapid fat loss and high ketones. I just don't know enough about it to know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. The other thing would be if you're on medications like blood pressure medications. Make sure your doctor, make sure you can get a hold of your doctor, or you're already dialing down on those meds, because your blood pressure could drop quite low if you're on medications, because you're going to be lowering your insulin. A lot of things on a fat fast can happen fairly quickly. So be careful there if you're on medications. Check with your doctor. The other type of person that shouldn't do a fat fast is someone who potentially has lipotoxicity. And I've been learning a lot about this subject lately from some videos that Jenny Middich has done, and I'm going to link those below. Lipotoxicity affects only a very small number of people who are doing keto or carnivore. So it's probably not a worry, but it could be. And I used her checklist that she gave on her video, which I'll link below, to figure out if I had it or not, because one of the symptoms is that you're not losing weight on carnivore. Well, I've actually lost quite a bit of weight, almost 150 pounds on keto and carnivore together, but I've been stuck for a while, or super slow. But I don't have any of the other, she gives a whole list of things to check on your blood work. And I did have blood work done 3 or 4 months ago. None of them apply to me, so I can safely say I don't have lipotoxicity. I'm just doing, there may be other things that I still haven't mastered yet. So it doesn't affect me that way. But if that is you, I would go to her videos, download that checklist, and look at your last blood work, or get blood work and use her checklist to know whether you have it or not. Is this better than doing a sardine fast? Okay, a fat fast and a sardine fast are two different things. A sardine fast has protein. It has too much protein for it to be a fat fast. A sardine fast is also really good for getting your ketones up and your blood sugar down. It also is really good for healing. I have had amazing results with eating a lot of sardines for my knee. I was able to cancel my knee surgery last year. And even though I've been having some trouble with my knee lately, that was because I overdid it on a cruise. And it's actually getting better. I've been doing a lot more sardines, and I'm just coming off a 3-day sardine challenge, and I feel fantastic. So it's a different type of fast. A fat fast it's much shorter. You can do sardines for 30 days. There was a woman who did sardines only for 90 days. Dr. Boz had her on her channel. She had some amazing changes. I'm going to link that video below. You should not do a fat fast for that long. You shouldn't even do it more than 3 to 5. 3 to 5 days should be your maximum. You're just not getting the nutrients that you're getting on a sardine challenge. So, that two different things. So you can't say is one better than the other. They're different. Those are the common questions that I've received and the common mistakes that I'm seeing being made. I hope this has been helpful. I will put all the links below of the prior Fat Fast videos. And I want to thank you for coming and listening, and we'll see you guys next time.
on my last Fat Fast video, so I thought this would be a good time to go over them. We'll just have them in the same video because some of these are related to problems that people have on a fat fast. So first question, why do a fat fast for only 1 day when you... Number 7, oh, I hope I've got the numbering right now. I'm not really sure. Number 7 is, oh, we talked about calories already. Oh, I've confused myself here. Let me see. Did I do that? Number 5, number 5, number 5, number 5, number 5.